Welcome to the Between Brothers podcast. We have the charismatic one, four of a kind, but one of a kind. Zero in the building, along with
Yo,
the Duke of Debonair, Lando in the building. Thank you all for listening this week. Shoot, man, we got some topics to discuss, but as always, first things first. Zero, how was your week?
it was pretty okay, but yeah, the last few days haven't really been the greatest. Um, yeah, I started having abdominal pain during work. Then that turned to diarrhea. Um, and I couldn't focus. Um, helped our sister move a um move a couch into yeah, from one side of the apartment complex to the other. I was, I thought I was so short of breath, like it was completely ridiculous.
Was it heavy?
No, it wasn't heavy. That was the thing. It was like the only thing that was difficult about it was trying to get a handle on holding it because one side had legs, the other one didn't, and I ended up carrying the side with no legs. So I was trying to get a grip, and I was trying to get a grip, but it was like, you
Who
know
was
what?
helping you? Who was helping you with it?
Um, it was uh, it was one of one of the neighbors that actually live in the apartment, really big guy. So
I
yeah,
was about to ask what I was about to ask what he was built like. It was a soft ass, but nah.
we we got it from the loft down. I don't even know who would even put a couch up there, but it went from well, we carried it from the oh yeah, we took it from the loft, and I handed it down. Then I got down, and it was like I thought I had just ran 6 marathons. How short of breath I was, but we were able to get it down there. Like when we started taking it, when we took it down the stairs and walked over, like I spent more time trying to catch my breath after putting it down to the main floor than we did carrying it down the stairs and walking to our sister's apartment. It was like she was like, "Yo, I can hear it. I can hear it in your speech that you really ain't feeling that well."
What's wrong with your lungs?
Um, no, I don't know if it was because of my lungs or because I just didn't have energy because I hadn't really been eating much of anything.
Gotcha.
So, and then Marshmallow was throwing up left and right, left and right. Um, and I'm like,
Maybe
and
a
then the
stomach
wife,
bug going around the house.
yeah, then the wife was like, was so nervous about it. She was like, you might have to take him to the emergency room. And so I'm staying up, make sure Marshmallow doesn't throw up again. When I finally fall asleep, Jelly Ball comes out of the bathroom and throws up in the bathroom. Didn't even make it to the toilet. So it was like 12:30 in the morning. I finally get to fall asleep just for Jelly Ball to throw up. But it was significant that they threw up because it was like Marshmallow likes to make not Marshmallow. Jelly Ball likes making noodles. Now I'm sitting in the kitchen trying to drink some tea But like I said, I'm like dozing off, sitting in the chair inside the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even notice until it's too late that Jelly Ball is washing off forks and didn't rinse off the sponge. So I think because Jelly Ball try to clean the forks with the sponge without rinsing it off is why they started throwing up because they haven't thrown up since. So it's like I think they were just throwing up what it was, and I was like, Jelly Ball felt bad, and I was like, no, that's not your fault. It's my fault because I should have caught it well before you did anything. But I was so out of it. But even no matter how out of it I am, it's still on me. It finally felt a little better today. But I made this. I was Instagram and there was this guy whose video I had saved. He had a he made a because I've been uh, while I've been sick, every morning my legs have been my legs have been cramping very bad. So he said he made this super hydrating drink, which consists of watermelon, lemon, and mint leaves. So it does pretty taste pretty good because of course the lemon and the mint make it taste good. So I was gonna make another cup before I went to bed, but it's like at this point right now it's probably take some Tylenol for the pain to go away and drink that hydrating drink to get my to get my hydration in order. But yeah, that's what it was.
That's rough. Rough weekend for you, dog. I've been there. Definitely been there. So get well. Get well. Get right. We so for us we had really not a whole lot go on. Had the had a date night with the Duchess. Um we went bowling. So I've been on a 9 or it was a 7 game win streak. Then I won the first two, and then I don't know why I just kind of wore out. Started getting really inconsistent, rolling the ball all over the place, and she beat me the last two. So I got to get my get back whenever I can. And I knew it was due to um, we're gassing out because my tricep was hurting the next day in my hand or my thumb area. It actually still kind of hurts a little bit if I press on it. But outside of that, it's been in it was a fun night. Actually, speaking about sickness, so we had a vast temperature change, and generally speaking, when the temperature changes so drastically, we had snow, and then it was 70. I get like stuffy nose and things of that nature. But this time, I lost my sense of smell and taste because it was pretty I guess it was pretty severe. So, anybody who knows who has sinus issues, it's not just a COVID thing, or it's not just a COVID system or symptom. It's a symptom for people who have sinus issues. So, and it's funny because I didn't know I had sinus issues because that never happened to me until a doctor, he kind of looked at my nose and he was like, "Hey, do you have allergies?" And I was like, "No," because I always thought of allergies as the sneezing and itchy eyes and stuff. So because that's all I had ever seen, and that's all they ever talk about on TV and stuff. So I'm like, no. And so he was like, no, you got swollen sinuses, and that's a sign of an allergy. So um, then after that, these things started to happen. And so, and I was like in my mid 20s. So yeah, about 10 years ago. that I got this diagnosis, and I never had an issue with it before. Excuse me. But with that being said, um, it was it was a good it was a good night. We went to a restaurant, got my favorite dish. I was able to smell and taste all day until I got that dish. And so I was like, of course, perfect timing. And but like I said, we had a good night nonetheless. Um, Link turned 18, but he was with his mother for his birthday. Well, actually, now that he's 18, he's been upgraded to Debonair Extraction Day. So, um, so yeah, we're gonna have a Debonair Extraction Day celebration this weekend with him, um, and get active. And then also with that being said, uh, we just had a lot of good things happen this weekend outside of me losing some taste. And that's always the worst because every time it's happened, it's lasts like 3 days. So like today, my first day tasting anything since for the last 3 days. So since Friday night. But it's good. It's good. We had a good time. But anyways, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting something I was supposed to say. I don't know, but anyways, um, yeah, let's get to it, man. Let's get to the topics. Let's get active. So first things first, we discussed on the podcast about a few weeks ago. Don't know how long ago it was, but Jay Z was um, being sued for for um, doing nasty things to a underage girl. He called it out, um, and people like I think her name is Jaguar. Kind of was like has been accusing Jay Z of these things for a long time, and everybody's like, "Oh, you see, she's right," and ended up being that the person dropped the charges, or dropped the suit, dropped that not even just a suit on Diddy or on Jay Z, but also on Diddy. And I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times. Like, so there's enough people saying something about it. I'm not going to believe that all of them are lying. But when you get people like that who aren't telling the truth, it makes everyone seem like they're a liar. It
Yeah.
diminishes what everybody else is going there to trying to actually get justice. So Stephen A. Smith had kind of got on, and I think he was the only person I saw who had voiced a strong opinion saying that he didn't believe Jay Z was guilty of this. And I wonder because we mentioned this when it came to Drake. Like, what does it say about Drake that nobody said anything? And then it's like, what does it say about Jay Z that nobody in hip hop, at least to my knowledge, defended him, but Stephen A. Smith, the sports guy, defended him. And he was like, he was his friend. People on social media, his YouTube channel was like, y'all ain't even in the same industry. Y'all ain't friends. This, that, and the other. I guess because they don't see them around each other a lot, which is kind of stupid. Like I got, my longest friend. I don't think I've seen in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, things happen and people are busy, and Jay Z's a billionaire. So, so he might travel different. You know what I'm saying? So, but your thoughts on the whole scenario, and is attorney Busby, is he what do they call him, ambulance chaser? Like, is he one of those people who's just trying to get on and got on the wrong, hitched his what is it? Hitched
Hitched
his
this wagon.
bandwagon on the wrong truck. and now he's facing backlash, and I heard that they plan on suing him as well for the allegations.
Look, my thing is this. Like, it just felt like it just felt like when the situation with Diddy happened, it always felt like a big can of worms was just going to open up, or Pandora's box was going to open up, and then all of a sudden there's going to be accusations everywhere. Never thought that Jay-Z would be accused of anything. But then but then, you had Jaguar Wright saying what she was saying, that she had scars and stuff of that nature. I'm like, sometimes it's like this lady, it seemed like she knew everybody and got dirt on everybody. And it's like, you got to believe her because she was in the industry. And this is the same woman who went to like a strip mall or some shit and was throwing her son's ashes at people and then started rubbing them on herself. Like, this is the same person, but that's neither here nor there. I was watching a podcast when this situation happened, like when the charges got dropped, and I think his name is Anton Daniels. He asked the question, if this happened to you, would you want them to be thrown under the jail or try to get some money? Because I think that was Jay-Z's point. It's like, if I really did something like this to you, go loud. It's like, put up criminal charges.
Look. Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but I was thinking about this because I used to say that, like, why don't you go for justice, land them in prison? Which I'm with it. But if I had to choose between one or the other, run me my ducats, though. Look. I get it. It looks suspicious if you don't pursue criminal charges, but the crime's already done. I can't, like, you going to prison don't do nothing for me, but that 20 million does a lot for me. I don't know what her number she was chasing what, but that does a lot for me. So I'm not even mad at certain people who do that anymore, just because
Mm.
I'm like, look, the crime has already been done. This is now, I'm saying if I had to choose between the two, now, honestly, I'm going for both because because apparently you can go to prison, or you can get them sent to prison and still hold them civilly liable. So it's not like you have to go one route or the other. But if somebody told me you have to go with one or the other,
Hmm.
run me my ducats. I need funds. I
Yeah,
need
because
secured funds in this offshore bank account so I can.
why's it got to be offshore? Like, just take the fucking
I don't
like
know. I don't know where the multi-million-dollar bank accounts are. I'm just saying, what I'm saying? Every time I hear the big money bank accounts, they offshore. I don't know why they gotta be. I
nah,
don't know
it's
why that is.
it's offshore, so they don't have to. It's off. I think it's offshore, so they don't have to. It's either they doing something illegal with it, or they don't want to pay taxes on that shit.
Hey, look, I ain't mad at either one. I'm really not. I'm just saying, like, yo, if I had to choose, now not making fun of anybody's trauma, anybody who's been victimized in that way. I'm just saying, like, I can't get
I'm
that
just
hurt
saying.
back, but laying in a room full of money like Scrooge McDuck can't hurt.
to dive around in it like a porpoise and burrow through it like a...
Yeah, as soon as you win the civil case, it'd be like, yo, it's like, I think I'm about to go to that bank. I think I'm about to go to a bank in the Cayman Islands real quick. Open
I'm
up an
just saying,
account and head back. So I got me an account number. It's like
you know what I'm saying? I
this
don't know.
account and this routing number. I think that's pretty good. It's like
Yeah.
I thought you banked with Chartway.
Mm-mm.
After this,
Mm-mm.
why bank
Chartway.
anywhere else?
Chartway. What? I don't even know what that is. I need a charter flight. That's the only charting I'm doing.
It's
That's
like
the only.
charter course to paradise. It was like it was
That's
these
all I'm
Pirates of the
saying, man.
Caribbean ass niggas.
Matter of fact, we need a poll. We need a poll. And if you had to choose, if you were if you were criminally violated, that can be, you know, sex crime, you know, battery crime, domestic violence, multitude. It's similar to like Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Like she got. And I'm not making fun of her, but like she literally got beat like a drum, and she never said anything, and then she got 30 million wired. So it's like, yo, she could have easily sent son to jail a long time ago, and she
Mm-hmm.
kept her mouth shut for a mad long time. Then came through with the evidence, and was like, yo, run me my ducats. And then he was like, here you go, like freaking Super Mario. And then the FBI was like, we got him. We fucking got him.
I know. It's like,
You know,
yo,
because ever since then, everything is plummeted for Diddy.
he made her smell what the Rock was cooking, and now she making rock roll money.
Yo,
that, that's crazy.
yeah. I'm if I'm so like I remember because this woman's been saying these things about Jay-Z for a long time. Jaguar,
Right.
yeah, okay. Are you telling me I'm right, or is that her last name?
That's her last name, right with a W.
Okay. so, so she's been saying these things, and then she said it on a platform. I think it was Piers Morgan, and Jay Z sent like a letter to him, and then he had to go out here and apologize. And people was like, "Oh, why is he reacting now?" And it's like, well, because if he sued, like, why hasn't he sued her? Well, if he sues Little Vlad TV or Little Jaguar rights personally, what's he gonna get from that? But a big, massive company like what Piers Morgan is on, I don't know what British broadcasting station he's on under there. I only know of two. That's BBC and Sky Sports. Those are the only ones I know that's out there. But anyways, so it's like he can sue them and get big money, and it'll be worth his time. And so it's just like this person, she's like, see, I told you so. And now, we haven't seen or heard from her since these allegations have come out. I'm not saying she specifically made these allegations or whatever, but it's like for the first time outside of her, he's been accused, at least from what I've seen, he's been accused of doing this heinous crime and ended up being false. And he vehemently denied it. Like he was like, you've never seen Jay-Z be that more public about any allegation about
Mhm.
it. Even the Illuminati thing, because what was it? Conspiracy theorists screaming Illuminati. They can't believe so much skill is in the human body. That's the only thing I've ever heard from Jay-Z about the decades of Illuminati stuff they've been saying about him. Like, like he don't respond to stuff. So the fact that he responded so vehemently and adamant against that gotta mean something, right?
I would think so. Like you said, he doesn't really say much of anything besides it popping up in a bar or two. So, uh, it was just weird how it just completely just disappeared. And it's like you said, when it was explained what happened, the fact that you didn't report anything then, or even like because it was like what she was young, her father picked her up from Manhattan and drove her 2 hours back. Yo, daddy didn't press charges.
First of all, no, I mean if he's I I'm not gonna sit here and say Daddy should have pressed charges, but because as a father, I don't know how I'd react. I personally don't think I'm reacting. My reaction is calling the police.
Mm,
Personally, I like in my mind, I feel like I'm be Gerard Butler in a
yeah,
law-abiding citizen. That's how in my head. That's how I think. I'm semi-saved right now, so maybe
yeah,
God will put my spirit in a different place
yeah,
if something like that were to happen. I pray it never does. But if
yeah.
something like that were to happen to one of my daughters,
Mm,
I don't know if I would be so civil as to call the police and say I demand justice. I
you
think I'll
know,
slap bro with the metal hand like Robin Hood Men in Tights and demand
I
satisfaction.
say
I challenge you to a duel. I accept.
said,
I,
hey, hey. I said, hey.
you know what I'm saying? Like I think I would only want. I don't think I demand justice. I think I demand satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
Those are two vastly different things in my head. Justice put bro in prison. Maybe I can get a little bread, or satisfaction, whatever I want.
Yo, you bringing up law-abiding citizen. I think tomorrow I'm about to make me some. I'm about to go get some steak and some macaroni and cheese. Yo, that scene was crazy. It's like he is like you talk about splitting the dude's head open, and you ain't even noticed that he had the
Bruh,
T-bone on deck.
bruh.
You just threatened to kill me, you ain't see me slide the T-bone.
Nah, he was like, I'm good. I'm
Yo,
good.
he was so. I would say he was so vile with that shit. He just wiped the blood and
But
laid
he was
down.
gold dust. Oh man,
Yeah, that day he was red dust,
bruh, bruh.
bloodlust.
Blood dust. Yeah, yeah, that's I love revenge movies, man. I love those movies. Actually, not all of them. I watched Beekeeper. Joint was
Mm,
buzzed to me.
I
Joint
haven't
was
seen
buzzed to me. Yeah. Yeah.
it. What the hell is that?
That's what it was. That's what it was. And I love Jason Statham. I had a friend who used to call him Jason Statham. I was all, you were talking. You know the TH makes the sound, right? Boy,
Yo, like he hyphenated his
yeah.
name.
Statham. What is that? Matter of fact, I'm about to come up with a new website called Statham. It's gonna be a bunch of NBA and NFL statistics, random statistics that you won't find anywhere else. Alliance Sports Bureau type stats, bro. every Thursday at 12:20 p.m. At 12,
What?
every Thursday at 12:20 p.m. Steph Curry makes more shots at that time than any
It's like, but his games are in
other.
prime time. Who told you
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I ain't saying it was in the game. It could have been practice. I don't know, but I'm making these stats up. It had the logo with numbers on a piece of ham. Statham.com. Gotta be the dumbest.
Stat ham.
Hey man, you know that dude's Jason Statham?
Stat ham. Join that ham revolution.
Who is that? Man, he was in that one movie and he was a movie with Jet Li. White dude, man, British dude be doing. I'm like, Statham? He's like, oh, that's how you say his name. I'm like, oh,
but nobody's ever called him Stat Ham but you.
Nobody. You've never seen or you remember that joint when your whole crew dumb and they was like making up words like niece or whatever, and he's like, you've never heard anybody say that. Like that's never been a thing. Like that's what, bro. You just said Stat Ham. What is my name? What is my name? What do you think my name is? Janot Ham? Oh, you special kind of
So Mace.
Yo, no, it's Bahamas. But yo, are you if you talking about that chickpea dip to hummus? What do you mean? Oh man, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I love me a revenge movie, man. Taken is one of my top fives. The first one, and I think the third one. I don't think I care for the second one too much. I think the first one and the third one were the ones I like the most.
I hate scenes like in the third one when he was trying to escape. They had 15 different cut scenes of him jumping over a fence once. It was like, yo, he could do but so much to do like 79 years old.
Yo. You know, those movies make me wish I joined, like, I was like a recluse. That would, like, not saying I really want that, but like a lot of these people, they don't have like families and stuff like that. They ain't grown with family. But like to be a spy and be out here, like, now I heard from like what I've seen from like real spies, it ain't James Bond type where you always at the casino drinking martinis and stuff, wearing a suit, driving Aston Martins. I heard it's usually in some crappy country with no AC, you know what I'm saying? Like heat flaring up like a Roman
Who are
warrior.
you spying on? You're one of 300 people. Like, who are you spying on? Like, your neighbors know you.
Yeah, so I'm like, I wonder, like, but if it's more, it makes me think like I want to be one of them people. Because you can't be freaking Daniel Craig age, giving dudes the business like he giving them Jason Bourne or what's it called, Matt Damon age, Liam Neeson age, and they be giving everybody the business like. Matter of fact, they remind me. I don't know if you watched it, but on Netflix, I read the manga. The Netflix, there's a anime called Sakamoto Days.
I haven't watched it yet.
So the main character, he's a former assassin, and when he was an assassin, he was the greatest assassin. But he ended up getting a family, and he swore from assassinations, and he got fat. So and he has like white hair, so he looks like an old man, but he's only in his like late 20s. So, but like he's a monster even as a fat guy. And like that, I'm like, yo, like, oh, it seems like only spies and assassins have this incredible skills, fighting skills, self-defense skills, no matter what stage in life they are. So it's like, yo, what was Son in his prime? Because he's 47, giving bros business.
Yo, it is prime. He could do a front flip and a back flip in one jump.
Bro, we're running high speeds without bending his knees.
Why would you ever do that?
Running like a gingerbread
Why would you do
Told you I would find you.
that? He's like he
Running like dumb.
yeah. It's like that dude. It's like he was doing weird shit. He be running without bending his knees. He eat his burritos like a Powerpuff Girl. It's like he
Yeah.
like no thumbs.
Holding chopsticks like a Powerpuff Girl. That's the more die. That's the
Yeah.
more crazy joint. Like, oh snap! I can't even do that with two hands. Two hands and 10 fingers, I can't do that. But just Bubbles found a way.
Yo,
Oh
they be
man,
wait, they be doing all sorts of shit. They could do BMX bike tricks.
man. I'm just saying, man. Like I got it. Sometimes I'm like, in another life, I could have been a spy and had the skills. What did he say in Taken? I had a particular set of skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need that particular set. You know, that's what I need. That particular set.
I don't even think he know what his particular set of skills are.
Bro, he did. He did because he got the job done. Found his daughter and everything. So he knew exactly what skills he had. Sure.
We all know why. Plot armor.
Oh yeah. Look. Plot armor don't exist nowhere but anime, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, my fault. Yeah, my fault. My fault.
Apparently that's not a thing in anything. Oh yeah, let's kill the main character in the first episode. That makes a great plot. Like, what are we doing? What anyways, let me not get into a rant about that. But yeah, shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Hove. Congratulations on defeating the liars, the lies. At least for now, people who hate you are gonna always hate what you got going on.
The deception.
Yeah, so all right, so let's get into some sports a little bit. Deebo Samuel got traded to Washington. The betting odds have not changed at all from that trade. So it seems like the Vegas doesn't believe that Deebo makes the team significantly better. After last season, I don't see why they would think that he makes them any better.
Yeah. I
But
think the
he's a
odds
good player.
change. I think the odds change
No,
when you
it
get
was
close
fucked
to
up.
the season.
No, generally they do it pretty quick, especially if it's a big roster move like that, because he's going to be a starting wide receiver. Everybody's saying like they needed a legit number two. He is a legit number two that could be a number one at times. I don't think I think he only be a number one with San Francisco. I think he's a number two everywhere else. But yeah, so it's like, okay, a real threat next to Terry McLaurin, who could also be featured in the running game. That utility player. So yeah, but I think the odds will change depending on what the rest of the OC. But like him, just adding him does, at least Vegas believes it does nothing. But with that being said, they only gave up a 5th round pick, I think, and was that it or just other?
No, that was it. Just the
okay,
fit.
so they got him for virtually nothing. And I think it does make the offense better, but their issues were in the trenches. So that's what's gonna help change the odds for them. But what do you think about the move? Good move, bad move, or you're indifferent? As far as I'm concerned, I'm indifferent because the trenches. We said this a couple weeks on the podcast. The teams who dominate the trenches win the Super Bowl.
I'm indifferent about it too, but it's like, we already know that that's going to be addressed in the draft and free agency. And probably think another weapon wouldn't hurt. but you get an experience. But you basically trade away a fifth round pick for an experienced guy instead of using the same fifth round pick on a rookie wide receiver who may or may not make the team or may not start. So so I think interior wise they're probably just gonna address that in free agency. Yeah, we already knew, like when I told you about that article, it said the Eagles laid the blueprint for for success. It was like, who hasn't known this? They didn't lay a blueprint. It's always been the same. You win the trenches, you win the game. It's like you win the trench. Yeah, it's like everything starts at the trenches. As a quarterback can't, it's like you're not playing 7-on-7. The quarterback,
Yeah.
it's like if the quarterback has no protection, yeah, the quarterback has no protection, he gets sacked. It's a whole bunch of three and outs, a whole bunch of punts. It's like you think that you don't have to do that. You might as well say that your punter making it to the Pro Bowl is gonna be a perennial Pro Bowler because he's gonna have a lot of work on his hands.
Hmm.
So I'm indifferent about it, especially with like what the last couple of years he's been hurt. It's not a good. It's like for me, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a good look when he got on his kicker, but wasn't performing well himself.
Dropping passes left and right. That dude's
Yeah.
like Terrell Owens, but
Worse.
worse.
and and
Like they'd be like, oh, this is like a third, like a poor man's whatever. I think he's like a third world Terrell Owens.
he eating crackers with flies on his lips.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think he's like a third world. What do they call it? A failed state. Like
Yeah.
he's a good player, but when you compare him to To, it's never close. But like To is a big physical receiver that dropped a lot of passes, so that's what I meant.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's it called? And it sounds like they even talking about trading Brandon Ayuk as well.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw, but they said it's going to be hard to offload his contract because he just got it and he got the ACL injury. So
Yeah.
all at the same time. So
Yeah. What's it called? I don't think a team would even attempt to make a move on him until the trade deadline, just to
is
make
Deebo
sure.
Samuel a top 30 wide receiver? No, let me put it up. A top 20 wide receiver. Because he's a
No.
starter, so he's definitely top 30. But you know the
No.
rule. You know the rule. Can you name 20 guys that you're like, we don't have to go through them, but
Yeah,
in your
because
head, do you think there's 20 guys that you're like definitely better than? Like they're definitely like no argument. And just for anybody who's listening to us for the first time, even though we've been doing this podcast for 3 years, no, is it 3 or 4?
it'll be four. Wait, no. Yes, it will be four. It will be four.
It'll be 4 when because our anniversary was in February.
Because I think we started in 2021.
So it's already 4. It's 2025.
Yeah, so we've been doing
Okay.
it for four.
So we've been doing it for 4 years, but we have a rule amongst us. The rule is if you're going to say a guy is not top, whatever it might be, you have to name that amount of players that there's no argument against for them being better than that player. So let's say it's a top 5, and you say Michael Jordan's not top 5. If you and I'm saying like not opinion or whatever, I'm saying like the consensus, these guys are better. Nobody. I said Michael Jordan because nobody can. So it's like if you say Michael Jordan's not a top 5 player, there's not 5 basketball players in the history of the NBA that there's no argument is better than Michael Jordan. So that's why that's the rule on this podcast. We're not going to debate about it. We're not gonna. Oh well, you could say no. There is no could. It is or it isn't. So I think I think I would struggle to name 20, but I think I can get to 17 before I got to think.
Got you.
Now I kind of want to do
I don't.
it. We won't, but I kind of want to do it.
Yeah,
Because
I
now I'm like,
definitely
okay,
don't.
like I'm like, cause there's some tools that are better than them, depending on the team. Like Puka's better than them. And I don't think there's an argument about that. Speaking about twos, let's move on from that because who cares at the end of the day? We're not
Mhm.
Washington fans. I'm a die easy Washington fan because of Jaden Daniels, but my actual team is the Jets. So, but did you know the Jets finished third overall in defense?
Didn't seem like it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like, I watched more Jets games last season than I ever have, and I'm like, I didn't feel like they were a top three defense because I've seen years where we were a top three defense and it looked better. But anyways, with that being said, T. Higgins, we've been talking about T. Higgins for a while and what he could and what where he could possibly go. And we were like, and even the Bengals kind of said we're not going to franchise tag him, and then they tag him, and he's on the tag for 26.4 million, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, you don't want to keep him, so you franchise tag him, you burn the franchise tag on. They don't. Apparently, they're not really close to him having to deal with Jamar right now, which that
Mm-hmm.
would just be stupid because he's held out already, and he had just had the best season of his life. So
So
and
it's like, what the
he's a
fuck is
better
going
player
on?
than T. Higgins as well. So why would you not want to get him a deal? But then I'm like, why are they holding T. Higgins hostage if they don't want him? And my mindset is they probably want him on something so they can trade him and not lose him for nothing, or he's forced to stay on the team. But then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see T. Higgins on a new team. And personally speaking, I think that there's probably four teams that he would be perfect with. And um, my team is one of them, depending on who the quarterback is. I think your team is one of them, depending on, well, not depending on who the quarterback is, depending on how well that your quarterback plays. Uh, San Diego, I like him there. And I also like him.
You said San Diego.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Super.
the Chargers. Um,
San Diego.
uh, the Chargers, I like him there. And I forgot who the fourth team was. I was thinking about it earlier, but those three teams for sure. Um, Arizona is the other team I would like him to be on. So or maybe Houston. Houston would be a good spot for him because I don't think Stephon Diggs is on the team. Um,
No,
yeah, so I think that would be a good spot for him there too. But the only thing is he gets hurt a lot, so I don't know. But what do you think about how the Bengals are managing this elite
you
player?
you,
Um,
you took you, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, because when because you texted me about it earlier, and I responded with, I still think he's gonna get traded.
yeah,
Because it's like what you said. You don't let you don't let somebody like T. Higgins just walk. Like, get some draft capital. Yeah, get some draft capital because what was it? Because I think it was the Rich Eisen show. Somebody was talking about if you franchise T. Higgins, you're probably gonna pay. It's like Joe Burrow already got his deal, making
mm-hmm,
55 a year.
mm-hmm.
What's his name? Chase, you're probably going to give 40 to him.
What wide receivers getting more than 30 right now?
Um, I think what's his name? Justin Jefferson.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Um,
I mean they're at least last season they were the two best receivers in football, so no
yeah,
reason
it's
to not
like
pay him. And he was the best, so no reason to not pay him.
you'll give so you'll give Jamar Chase 40. And then you got
40's a lot for a wide receiver. Good lord.
Trey Hendrickson, who's coming off of back-to-back 17 and a half sack seasons.
In which one of them he was the sack leader.
And you end up in a situation where about I think it was like 52% of their salary cap will be tied up in four players. It's like you gotta pay the rest. You have to pay the rest. Like over half of your salary cap is tied up into four players. And this is without reconstructing the deal, Burrow's deal, which he's willing to do.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the
it's
only thing when I think about the caps, and I know King Sean's come up here and he said the cap is cap, but that's it depends on the ownership. Like, ownership, Bengals ownership has never been an ownership group that pays a lot of money to their players. So,
yeah,
um,
but you could, like I said, you can manipulate the cap with restructuring deals because it's like restructuring deals. Now you get to save more money you get to save more money. Like you'll have players that'll be like, they could have a cap hit of 24 million. You reconstruct his deal to where you can save 14 million of those dollars by giving just giving him that in the signing bonus.
see,
So
that's the thing though. Like, you got to make sure. That's the thing about on the ownership side, the money side. The owners have to be able to pay that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not simply as just like restructuring. Like, the owners have to be able to. They have to already be generating the profits virtually without the revenue share in order to pay them these big signing bonuses. So it's like, I don't know if the Bengals have a fan base that's that supportive, and the owners having businesses outside of football that's making that kind of money. Unlike the Chargers ownership and the Rams ownership that has billionaires as their owners versus I don't think there's any Bengals owner that's individually a billionaire. It's both probably. I'm not even sure if it's $1 billion franchise. You see what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, that's where I'm saying, like, it really depends on the ownership at the end of the day when it comes to just restructuring deals and throwing this money around. But my point that I was gonna make was, like, the salary cap virtually increases every season. So
mhm.
is it gonna be that devastating 4 years from now or 3 years from now? So, or do you have to keep all? I mean, I don't think they need to keep Higgins. You know what I'm saying? I think that they can get, though he's probably the best number two out there. Between him and Puka. Actually, to be honest, it's probably more Cooper Cup that's the number two on the Rams at this point as far as talent is concerned. So, like, he's one of the top three number twos there. He's a number one on half the teams in the league. So it's like, bruh, like, and now, and with the franchise tag, they're paying him like a number one. So what's the purpose of keeping him on and tie, like, because I'm pretty sure the salary cap or the franchise tag hits harder on the cap than
It
giving him a
does.
deal.
It
So
does.
yeah, so it's like, then if you're not going to give him a deal, if you don't plan on giving him a deal, then why are we doing this?
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. I do believe, because it's always because at some point folks just use the franchise tag as a tool to be like, let's go ahead, like we can tag you and we can make sure that nobody else can give you anything while we're trying to negotiate. If we it's like we could it's like, we could it's like we can either negotiate a long-term deal or we can go ahead and try to negotiate a trade. Either way, either way, we're coming out of here with something. And it's like, we don't want to run this risk. It's like, I don't know how, because I think only one time I've ever seen a team rescind the franchise tag, and that was when the Panthers couldn't pay Josh Norman.
Yeah, I
So it,
remember that.
so it was like, we couldn't get anything for you. You're disgruntled. We probably like you're disgruntled. We can't pay you. Like, you know what? It is what it is. You go ahead and you can test the waters.
Yeah,
But but I said, if they don't want him, they probably just keep him around so they can get something. It doesn't matter what type of draft capital at this point is what it seems like. As long as we get something for you.
yeah,
But it's like, but we're not gonna go it would probably be like we're not gonna go any lower than a fourth. I don't care
mm,
what I don't care what the Commanders gave away for Deebo Samuel. It's like it seemed like they wanted to get rid of Deebo Samuel. They're like, hey, give me what you got. Because we know we ain't getting the first. It's
I
like we know
mean,
the
he's a
first. It's
better
like,
player, so I think a fourth, a third or fourth would be warranted because he's a better player.
yeah.
But
That's why I was like, yeah, that's why I was saying I don't think they would go any lower than a fourth. Because it's like you talk about 2/6, you talk about like 2/6, and it's like and a fifth for next year. It's like who the fuck do you think you trying right now? So it's like you can get yourself a, a borderline Pro Bowl player if he's on in the right situation. You think 2/6 and a fifth for next year is going to be the price tag? No, we're gonna need more than that. Now I'm not talking about getting a Mike. I'm not talking about getting a Ricky Williams deal. 'Cause that was just fucking ridiculous.
yeah. All right. Let's get to this fight, dog.
All right.
Tank and Roach, they had a fight. It's funny. I thought Tank was gonna win, but I made a bet, a small bet. I think it was plus 450 or something when I checked. So pretty much would 5x my money if the decision would have went my way, for Roach. And I had mentioned to you that, because Tank is a slow starter, I think he's going to stop him, but it's going to be very late in the fight. But they also had history in the amateurs. I think they had two or three fights in the amateurs. They were both extremely close, and Tank edged it out. So the guy clearly knows Tank and knows how to fight him. And I thought I saw Tank get outboxed for most of those fights. I've watched the fight twice, and it's crazy because the first time I watched it, I scored it for Roach by 2 points. So 115, 113. The second time I watched it, I scored it for Tank 115, 113. And I'm like, some of the rounds I saw like when I was watching it live, I'm like, okay. But then when I rewatched, I'm like, oh, Tank might not have landed more punches, but he landed the better punches, the harder punches in those rounds. And that's what's supposed to be how you're supposed to score the fight. Um, but with that being said, I'm not. Tank loses the fight if the knee he took is scored a knockdown in every scenario that I can think of. So, with that being said, Tank should have lost the fight. Every fighter in their career has a controversial decision fight. Deontay Wilder with the Tyson Fury draw.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather versus Castillo. Devin Haney Lomachenko. So there's what's it called? Sweet Pea and
Chavez.
Chavez, yes. I was thinking Marquez for some reason. Marquez and Pacquiao, all their decisions outside the last one were controversial decisions in the first three fights. So where people thought that, that the draw, I think the draw on one of the wins should have went to Marquez. So like every fight, and so Tank finally has that because he went 12 rounds. And he went 12 rounds against Cruz, but I didn't think Cruz really did anything to win the fight. I think he survived, and that was a win for a lot of Mexican fans. But he didn't really do a whole lot that I felt like won the fight for him. But it was a competitive fight, though. But I feel like he should have lost the fight if it would have went without the knockdown, or without the knee, and I'm just because the knee didn't count. So I'm not going to go off of the knee. A draw, or even though I scored the second time for Tank, a draw or the fight for Roach would have made sense. Even though the second time I watched it, I went for Tank, just because in some of the rounds where he landed the better punches, not every judge really acknowledges that. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you're not throwing punches like Tank is, and the other guy's more active. So, so that sometimes activity wins you rounds, even if you're not landing a lot. And Tank was making him miss a decent amount. So, with that being said, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, well, Tank sucks. I don't think Tank sucks, but I think he is a short version of Wilder, where he's relying on too much of his power. And unlike Wilder, he actually has the skills to not rely on his power. And then he mentioned that grease got in his hair, and he also got in his eye, and he also mentioned that he forgot what round it was, so he didn't really pick it up when he should have picked it up. Which I can understand that, because it seems like that's how he fights. And that's the corner's fault. The corner should make sure their fighter knows where they are in the fight. So, and I think he wasn't with his normal trainer, Calvin Ford, for this fight. So those things could have played factors. The hair grease thing, the Duchess, she does hair and stuff. She's into that stuff. So she was like, she didn't use hair grease. And I'm like, he's a man. I don't think he knows if it's grease or gel. I know I don't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if, to me, it's all grease. So I'm not going to knock him for not knowing the correct product. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it got in his eye, I didn't even see him go to his eye until he went to the corner to ask for a towel. And I've never seen a fighter get something in their eye and not at least paw at it to see if, and he was like, oh, I wasn't trying to get knocked out. Why would you think you're going to get knocked out? Like, saying, he's mentioned like the thing that he's wants to avoid his whole career is getting embarrassed on that public stage. So I think that's in his head, and I think that's why he's talking about retiring soon, because the fighters are getting better, and they're calling for him to fight better fighters. Nobody's just going to be watching him fight. Even though Roach is a solid fighter, he wasn't a guy that most people thought should have been in the ring with Tank. And like I said, the only reason why he really survived was because he's familiar with Tank. So with that being said, and I'm a Tank fan, but nah, bro. No, no. That was not a good performance by you. I don't care what your excuses were. Most people feel like you lost a fight. And when I first watched it live, I felt like you lost the fight. And, I try to be as unbiased as possible with my judging or with my scoring. So, like I said, I watched it 2 times, and some rounds I gave to Roach, I gave to Tank. So it's like the fight could have went either way, but I wouldn't have been mad if people I'm not mad at people saying that he lost, which I was pissed when people thought Haney lost to Lomachenko. And it was really just like 2 rounds of Lomachenko. Like a fight isn't won on 2 rounds unless you stop him in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But in this fight, it was competitive the entire fight. And Tank was getting countered. And Tank was, getting outboxed, you know what I'm saying, and outmaneuvered, especially on the inside, where even the announcers were like, he needs to get out of the pocket with Tank because of Tank's power. And he was like, I'm not worried about that. And he fought him like that. And it was similar to how Buster Douglas fought Tyson and how Holyfield fought Tyson. And, it was like, no, fight him on the inside. You don't want to be at the end of his punches. He's not a good inside fighter. That's what that showed on that Saturday night. And it was similar to like when Charlo fought Harrison the second time. It's like, oh, Charlo needs to get on the inside. When Charlo got on the inside, that was when he got beat up. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that. Even though Tank is a devastating puncher, you can't be afraid of these guys' power. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get hit. So prepare to get hit and prepare to defend. So that's my whole take on the fight. Shout out to Lamont Roach. I think he's still a solid fighter. I don't think this makes him an A-class fighter. I think he's a B-class fighter. I still think he's a B-class fighter who had a Class A night, and against somebody he was stylistically good against. And that's all I got to say about him. Hopefully he gets some more shots on some big fights down the road.
So, yeah, I thought Tank was going to win. And shoot, I think Roach said in his press conference that Tank told him that he wasn't going to get the decision. And it's like, it's weird that he was like, yeah, Tank was like, we were talking trash. I think it was like the 11th. He said, you're not going to get the decision, right? But I don't think Tank thought that it was going to end in a majority draw the way that he reacted when he heard what they said. Because he was just walking around the ring. He just knew he was going to win. And then he heard that shit. Whole demeanor changed. Yeah, so I know that he's iron. What's his name? Tank is gonna be eyeing the rematch. Um, Hopefully it happens because I'm not okay with no definitive winners. Um,
Exactly.
and After this, in my opinion, Tank's last 2 fights should be Haney and Shakur because everybody's calling for Shakur and Haney. It's like all this shit they've been talking about sparring. How about you just make the damn thing official instead of talking about sparring? It's like it's like niggas can get the better of you in a sparring session. That doesn't necessarily mean when you get into that ring in the professional setting that shit doesn't change. It's like that's just the way it goes sometimes. Somebody gets the better of you in sparring. Somebody gets a better of you in amateurs, and then you fight them. Then you fight them on the grand stage, and it's a whole different ball game. So, like, if he really talking about retiring, like him versus Lamont two, and it's a definitive winner, Haney, Shakur. Like, just go out on your horse like that. It's like, I know, like you said, he said he didn't, when you said his biggest fear was being embarrassed, you know what? Why isn't it's like, that's probably why he hasn't fought anybody in the pound for pound. Yeah, that was even remotely on a pound for pound list because because for those fighters, there's a reason why they're on the pound for pound list. That's probably why he has never faced one because there's a strong possibility they may make you it's like what's it, that they catch you with that good shot and make your body move like a snake, like R. Kelly. Like, you gotta sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and fight the best because you can be undefeated. You could be undefeated your whole career, but niggas are gonna look back at your record and be like, or they're gonna look back at your fights and be like, who's the best nigga he ever fought? It was like, what was it, Dela Cruz? Like Rolly? Like who can you say is somebody that you can that like it's a win that you could just hang your hat on and be like in
Contra Cruz.
Santa Cruz, okay. So it was like they need to find a definitive winner because I think they said they were aiming for May. So or that he would want to aim for May for the rematch, but it's you gotta you gotta cement your legacy somehow and it's gotta be great fights. I think that's what's gone wrong in boxing as a whole today. Everyone's so worried about their about leaving. Yeah, it's. I think it's just a court of public opinion for real. Everybody's so worried about their instead of putting on a great fight, win, lose, or draw. It's like this is something that can be remembered for years to come. Like Ali versus Ali versus Frazier. All three. Well, say all three. I would say all three. Hagler, yeah, Hagler and Hearns. Um, like Tyson.
I think that's gone away. I think Tank is the only person who's really holding on to the O. And now that he has the draw, I don't think that the O really matters as much because it's not the same. Are
Yeah,
you undefeated technically, but you're not perfect like Floyd Mayweather was. So
yeah.
I don't think that really matters at this point. Because I mean, Fury Wilder, it was two undefeated fighters. Fury Usyk was two undefeated fighters. Bivol Beterbiev was two undefeated fighters. Spence Crawford was two undefeated fighters. I think that, oh man, I can't believe I'm saying this. We'll move on. I think Canelo has re-stigmatized the taking the L. And not because he lost to Mayweather, but I don't think it was that. I think after his loss to Bivol, and it was such on a grand stage, and he was the headliner that time, I think a lot of people started being like, I'll let my O go. And I'll risk the O. I think Tank is the only, because even Devin Haney, like people, I thought Devin Haney was gonna cakewalk Ryan Garcia. Of course he was on PED, so he didn't. But it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a close, or not cakewalk. I thought it was gonna be a close fight. I thought it was gonna beat him because they had 6 amateur fights and they went 3-3 against each other. So it's like, because they're from the West Coast, they been in a lot of tournaments together, they fall in the same division. So it's like, no, that fight should have been a close fight, a competitive fight, because they were familiar with each other. So like so Haney put his O up. Ryan had already lost by then, but it's just I think Tank is the only person who's still holding on to that. I think everybody else is willing to fight the best, and as long as the money makes sense.
Yeah, I know Boots is somebody who wanted to fight a whole bunch of top guys.
Yeah, they
But it
all
just
moved out
seemed
of the
like the
division,
top.
though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Now they left the division.
Yeah, so we either got to chase them going up or stay at 147. I think he's outside and stay at 147. But it's getting late, so I want to talk about one more thing. Rolling Stone said "Lady in My Life" was the worst song on Thriller. Agree or disagree?
Said it was the worst song.
The worst song on
I
Thriller.
I
It was the
disagree.
ranking. It was ranking the worst songs from the best albums, I think. And they said "Lady
See,
in My Life" was the worst.
all right. So yeah, I think that they also said that it was the worst way to end the album.
Yeah,
Actually,
I was the same.
here's my thing. I don't think I don't think I disagree. I think the worst song up there is "The Girl Is Mine." Now I know as kids we used to perform it, but I think "The Girl Is Mine" is actually the worst song on the album. But I never saw what was the explanation as to why they felt that way though.
I don't think it matters. The all right. So they said it was the worst way to end the album, which I'm not sure exactly, because Thriller is "Want to Be Starting Something," "Baby Mine,"
The Girl Is
PYT.
Mine.
No, is it
Are
"Girls
you
Mine"?
going
"Girls Mine"?
not
I'm
yet,
going out of order.
it goes want to be starting something, baby be mine, the girl is mine, thriller, beat it, Billie Jean, and that's 6.
Human Nature,
Human
PYT,
Nature,
then "Lady in My
PYT.
Life." Right.
Yes.
So I my least favorite song, and what I would say is the worst song up there, is "Want to Be Starting Something."
Hmm.
But Thriller, like I say, it's my just because it's my least favorite song, don't mean I'll bang that thing every time I listen to
Yeah.
it. In my opinion, Thriller is the perfect album.
Mm.
In my opinion, Thriller's the only perfect album. I'm not going to act like I'm a music fan like that and listen to every album. because I'm not. But in my opinion,
Say, fuck the Beatles and the
Thriller
Eagles.
is the perfect album from top to bottom, from song to song. And I don't know, again, you said, like, we don't know what made them select that song as the way it was the worst way to end it. There's only one song, or there's quicker pop songs and there's R&B songs, and there's a mix of it. And I don't know, like, let me look at this album order. So, "Wanna Be Sorry Something," that's a pop song. "Baby Mine," that's a pop song. "Girl Is Mine" is R&B. "Thriller," pop. "Beat It," pop. "Billie Jean," pop R&B ish. "Human Nature," R&B. "PYT," pop. "Living My Life," R&B. It's a perfect mix of Michael Jackson. Rolling Stone probably know more music better than me, but like Joe Budden said, they can shut the F up. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk no more about Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Because I think they made a hip hop list, and they have folks like Ice Spice being ranked higher than Most Def and Pusha T.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, that's it. That's probably the last time we're gonna talk about Rolling Stone. So it's the first time in 4 years. It's probably gonna be the last time for another 4 years. But yeah, I just come across it on my feed, and I was like, let me bring this up because we are both big Michael Jackson fans, seeing what Zero thought about that. But anyways, let's finish here, man. We did it. What's your parting shot?
My parting shot is shout out to Showbiz. He said that Rolly Romero, he he's trying to understand how this nigga keep on getting big fights. He said, he's like, I never seen a guy with that has the least amount of talent fight so many big fights. Cause he got Tank, he fought Pitbull, and now he's about to fight Ryan Garcia. It's like, how does it? And he almost lost. He almost lost to a dude 3 times his age for a belt. Like that. He he lost to a dude that was putting down bathroom tile 3 days before the fight happened. And he's like, hey, you got to fight Miguel? He's like, do I? Oh yeah. Let me head out real quick. Like he said this dude was the least amount of talent keeps on getting these big fights. It's like, yo, and I think, and I chalk it up to this. It's because he's entertaining.
What I
Because
mean,
because
okay.
the way that he talks trash, I think it's just the entertainment factor and not because he's a great boxer. It's like it's like in battle rap, T-Rex has fallen off. But if you listen to him in the face off, or he said to Easy the Block Captain when they're in the face off, because Easy the Block Captain's from Norristown. That dude said they don't know him in Norristown nor his town. So I think that's what
the
it is.
difference between the T-Rex guy and Rolly is Rolly's never been good. Like I was like, oh, I remember seeing him like when he was real young, and I'm like, oh shoot, this dude got some power. I'm gonna follow him. I follow him on Instagram. And then I saw him. He announced like a fight, and I was like, oh shoot, I'll go watch him. I like his power. Now I watch him fight, and I'm like, oh, he's not good right now. Well, give him some time to develop. And I watched him like his next 5 fights, and I'm like, oh shoot, he's not improving at all. I think he's regressed, and he was
Even a
already bad.
speech.
So yeah, but shout out to Rolly, man. You know, hey Rolly, I don't want no problems. You can knock me out for sure. You just can't beat really good boxers or any good boxers. So my glove's been hung up a long time ago, so you can beat my behind for sure. But yeah, that's shout out to him. All right, my parting shot is y'all gotta stop with the fake confidence. Y'all gotta stop with that. I'm saying that because I've been seeing a lot of people talk a big game, and then when the lights come on, they fold like origami. Okay? Like, I'm tired of y'all doing this to yourself. Stop running your mouth, stop talking your trash, and then not even have the desire to back it up when it's showtime. Stop saying you're gonna be the best. Stop saying you're gonna do this. Stop saying you're gonna do that. And then when it's showtime, it's not. When it's showtime, you will no show. And
It's showtime, not your time.
it's never your time. Like I said, they don't even want to. They don't even want to like step to the plate. They be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
oh you go, oh yeah." Then they step. Then when they like, "All right, you up," they just hold on. Okay, just start folding. Then you hit them and they freaking pop up. You make a little frog and they hop away. You make a little origami frog. You hit the butt. You hit the butt on it, and it hops away. That's exactly what they do. They don't hop to nothing. They hop to the back. Hey, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You get them. You get them. So yeah, I witnessed that in its entire fashion today, and I actually like this person. But you was talking for weeks, and then you folded like origami. That's it for us, people. Stop folding. Grab him and hold him.
You grab him and hold him. You grabbing him, but you're not holding him.
So, so yeah. And what I mean by grab, who's him? The opportunity. So shut up and do it. That's it for us, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening. We love you. See you next week.